Chapter 13 to 14. Onyankopon rushes to the cell where Armin and the others are located. Sasha asks, Onyankopon, what's going on outside? Marley came flying in on airships. There are about 500 soldiers plus the armored jaw and cart. Onyankopon says, it is just as the king predicted. But right now they are also having trouble. Sasha nods and says, all right. Then she takes out the keys and opens the lock to the cell. Sasha says, Eren knew that this is going to happen. So please help us, we've got to protect the king. Just then, Connie grabs Onyankopon's shirt and yells, are you shitting me? What is this about we? This is your fight. Why should we listen to you? Sasha grabs Connie and says, let go of him. All the anti-Marley volunteers except for Yelena are on our side. They have to act so that Yelena wouldn't try to blow their heads off. Connie ignores Sasha and says, you were just pretending to be nice to us while plotting to take over Parody with your wine. I'm fed up with getting betrayed all the time. By Reiner, Bertolt, Annie, Eren, even you Sasha. I'm sick of it. Damn it. If anything, you are the ones who betrayed us. Sasha yells into his ear. Eren used the power of the founder to bring your mother back to normal. And you were the ones who betrayed him by wanting to feed him to the uprising military who do nothing but want the power for themselves and surrender to other nations to save their own asses. She helps Onyankopon up and says, besides the wine, the euthanization plan, the volunteers are against it as well. Eren is also against it. Nicolo told us that Yelena asked them to keep quiet about the wine, and Onyankopon and the others didn't want Eldians to get euthanized. We promised that we would work together in the future. That's why they all decided to help Eren and us Yeagerists. Armin says, Eren did tell us about everything, but how do you want us to help? Didn't Eren have the power of the founder already? The founder can only control the subjects of Ymir, but they can't control those who are not Eldians. Onyankopon says, if he was shot while he was trying to control the Titans, we can't protect the island. Eldia can't lose his king. Sasha says, if you don't want to come, then that's fine. However, Eren only wants Armin to come. So, what's your response, Armin? I'm going. Armin says, I have more questions that I need to ask Eren. Then we'll come too. Jean says, I've been saying Eren's dangerous since we were cadets, that he's a shithead who would lead us into hell. Still, I always envied that asshole for being so cool. And it pisses me off to say it, but I don't want him to die just yet. Yeah, if he dies like this, I can't slug him in the face. Connie says, then let's go. Onyankopon says as they all rush upstairs. Back on the battlefield, Louise, Gloria, Peter, and Odom are also hiding behind a building. Peter says, damn it, our soldiers are continued to be killed. Where is the king located right now? Gloria asks. The female Titan is not in sight. I have to guess that he is just like us, hiding because of injuries. I only hope that Marley would send in the full Eldian soldiers instead of a lot of Marleyan soldiers. And in another building, Eren says, damn it, guess I'll have to do this. But if you transform right now your energy, Aya says, if we don't fight, we'll die right now. Eren yells as he jumps out and bites his hand, transforming into a Titan. It creates a lot of spikes and both of them manage to stab into Reiner and Galliard. Damn it.
Eren transformat.
Odom says, he won't have that much energy. Why struggle? What are you fighting for? Reiner asks. Galliard manages to break free from the spike and charges at Eren. But Eren already hardens his fists and punches Galliard, slamming him to the ground. Shit, I took a heavy hit. Galliard mutters. Reiner pushes Eren to the ground and says, Eren, I just want this to end. Why did I ever think we were the same? Enough already. But much to his surprise, he finds that Eren is not on the ground. Eren is behind him when he gives him a heavy punch, causing him to fall to the ground. The founder finally shows himself, Magath says as he tries to aim at Eren, but just before he can fire, something throws at the bullet and causes it to crash to the ground. What the? Everyone is surprised, as they turn to see Zeke, who is standing on top of the wall. There he is, Magath mutters. The Wonder Boy. I'm a little late, but I made it to where we promised to meet. Zeke says, good job hanging in there, Eren. Leave the rest to your big brother. Then he throws the boulders at the airships, causing them to fall to the ground and explode. Magath says, damn it, Zeke, I'll blast his nape. Line me up. Roger. Peek is trying to aim at Zeke, but Zeke throws the boulder first and causes it to quickly jump out of the way. But Peek is now hanging on the other side of the wall. Duking it isn't wise. Peek says, I'll punish the traitor myself. Magath says, but, at the same time, Flock and the other soldiers are approaching and Flock yells, flank the cart! Right! The soldiers yell, and the Beast Titan continues to aim at the soldiers while throwing the rocks. Never thought I am happy to have him here, Eren mutters while turning towards Reiner. Now what do I do with you?
Eren.
Mikasa and Aya also come out of hiding and Aya also bite her hand, transforming into the female Titan. Mikasa asks, Eren, now what? Eren comes out of the Titan's nape and says, we are going to lure Galliard and Reiner to where Zeke and the others are located. Once we're close, we can finally activate the rumbling. Then they start to run towards Zeke, and Gabby says, oh no, they're heading towards where Zeke is located. Leave the Titans to the Titans. We've got battles of our own. Colt says, while I'm rescuing Falco. Make your way south to the escaping airship. No, I'm going too. I dragged Falco into this. But he saved me time after time. Me who's supposed to be at the top of our class. I'm not gonna run off on my own. At the same time, Armin and the others manage to free the garrison and the military police from the prison, and they are also going to fend off the Marley attack. Eren and Aya are rushing towards Zeke, while at the same time, Armin and the others arrive and notice what's going on. Wait, is that the female Titan? Armin asks in shock after seeing Aya. Sasha says, yes, Eren manages to extract the Titan power from Annie and give it to the true royal family of the female Titan. Aya Newman. You mean the Hizuru Eldian? Jean asks, why are they rushing towards Zeke? They are luring Reiner and the Jaw Titan as close to the wall as possible. Sasha says. Eren and Aya turn to see Reiner and Galliard who are struggling to chase after the two Titans.
Konya's eyes,
I think Reiner's the one who needs help. But why is Zeke here? There's no way Captain Levi would let him go free. Jean says. Of course not. Zeke almost manages to kill Captain Levi if Commander Hang didn't drag his wounded body and escaped by jumping into the river. Sasha says. You'll be able to see them soon. Zeke promised to meet Eren at a certain time and place. Yelena says. We don't have much choice. We need to chase after Eren as well. Armin and the others are rushing toward Eren's location, and Eren and Aya are also trying to fight Reiner and Galliard, who manage to grab their legs. But thanks to their petrified blink and time manipulation, they manage to escape. Mikasa! At the same time, Louise, Peter, Gloria, and Odom also arrive, and Mikasa asks, how many people are still surviving? Not that many left. Gloria says, the weapons killed a lot of our soldiers. Eren comes out of the Titan nape and says, damn it, Aya. I'll rest on your shoulder if you don't mind. No problem. Aya says as Eren comes out of his Titan completely while standing beside Mikasa. I have to restore my energy for a while. Zeke notices Eren and says, Eren, we're almost there, so close to fulfilling our dream. But at the same time, Flock and the others are handling the cart Titan. Seeing the bones, Flock asks, we finally caught up to you guys. Who took her out? How wasn't you guys? Just then, it turns out that Peak is already out of her Titan, and Magath is having a sneak attack while he manages to shoot Zeke from the back. Oh no! Eren gasps as they watch how Zeke falls to the ground. Peak asks, you got him. The angle's no good. Move us, Magath says. At the same time, Galliard is still on the ground after what Aya did, and Reiner mutters, so that's your plan, Eren? Just stop already. The one person who shouldn't have that power, Eren, are you. While Flock and the others are fighting against Magath and the others, Magath yells, hurry up, if he's got even an ounce of life left, he'll scream. Galliard manages to bite on Aya's leg, and Eren and Mikasa are about to fall. Eren says, Gloria, give me a thunder spear. Gloria nods as she gives Eren the weapon, and Eren throws it on Galliard, hitting him, and at the same time, Aya also hardens her fist and punches at the Titan, but her fist is also shot. Don't let them shoot. Flock yells while they're trying to attack the cart Titan, but it manages to knock some soldiers out. The cart Titan. We've got to deal with her first. Armin says. Eren notices the garrison, the military police, and the scouts are approaching. He says, so they're here. Armin and the others? Mikasa asks, but why? We can worry about it later. Eren says. Then he uses the founding Titan to speak with Zeke. Zeke, you've done enough. Now let me handle this. I'll summon the Titans. Then he jumps down to the ground and says, Mikasa, everyone, be prepared. I'm going to scream in Zeke's place. This causes everyone to nod as Eren jumps to the ground. He is about to scream before he hears a voice. Wait! They turn to see that Colt is the one who stops him. He has Falco by his side. Falco got some spinal fluid in his mouth. Please don't scream. Eren flinches a little and he thinks, why now? What was that? Reiner asks. Eren Yeager, right? My uncle is an Eldian restorationist, and because of it, my family was in danger. I'm inheriting the beast to keep my family from suffering the same fate. If you're similar to Zeke, I don't think you're someone who'd drag kids into this. I'm not saying you should just lie down and die, but wait until Falco's out of range of your scream. After that, do the rumbling, kill as many Eldians as you want. Just don't drag my brother in this. Eren closes his eyes and says, "You're Falco's brother, right? I owe Falco a lot. And I'm doing this for Eldians on the island who have suffered because of the world." Then Eren starts to let out a scream, and just then, those who drank the wine are starting to glow, but much to Falco's surprise, he's not transforming. But Colt is still hugging Falco as if he's not going to let him go. But at the other places, the garrison and the military police are now transforming into titans as beams of lights start to appear. Now the city is filled with pure titans, and the Marley soldiers are surprised to see what happened. What the dash? The enemy turned into titans? Quick, the anti-titan cannons. But it is so late, the titans are starting to devour the military under Eren's command. Reiner is horrified after seeing that he's surrounded by the pure titans. Attack soldiers who are from Marley. Make them pay for the sufferings. Eren commands as the titans are chasing after Reiner, Pieck, Galliard, and the other Marley soldiers. Eren turns to Colt, who is still hugging Falco. "What are you two doing? The spinal fluid inside Falco is no more. Just leave." Eren yells at Colt, who realizes that Falco isn't transforming. Then they quickly rush away before the pure titans can find them. Zeke slowly gets up and says, "Eren, why? What?" Just before he can continue to ask, Pieck manages to shoot another cannon at Zeke's nape, causing him to knock out once more. Magath says, "He's a goner this time." "I'm sure of it." Crisis averted. That leaves the founding titan. Then he tries to aim at Eren, who isn't even in the titan form in the first place. "We've got no need for your head, just your spinal fluid." Before Magath can shoot, Armin manages to fire the Thunder Spear, hitting the cart titan. "We were too slow. Bring them down." Before the soldiers can attack, Sasha manages to come and kill 2 more soldiers. "It's over. It's over for you guys." Pieck yells, but Eren yells, "Sasha, Flock, come over here. It's the time." Flock and Sasha hear Eren's calling and they quickly rush toward them. Eren, Aya, Louise, Peter, Odom, Gloria, and Mikasa are also rushing at them. Gloria says, "The conditions are complete. We can finally start the rumbling." Reiner notices that Eren is rushing toward 2 people. He tries to stop them, but the pure titans are blocking their way. Once the 8 of them gathered, Eren starts to let out a loud scream, and just then, 5 things are going on at the same time. First, the walls start to crumble to the ground, bringing those who are on the walls to their doom, and all of the colossal titans emerge with their eyes starting to open. Second, Armin, Reiner, Galliard, Pieck, and Zeke feel electricity hitting their bodies, feeling that their titan powers are slipping away and they are also turning back to humans. At the same time, Gloria, Sasha, Flock, Louise, Peter, and Odom are also glowing as they feel like they're gaining the powers of the titans. Third, all of the pure titans manage to finish eating the Marley soldiers, and all of them drop to the ground dead. Fourth, all of the Eldians, both on Paradis Island and outside, feel a sense of warmth in their blood. And fifth, the Ygrists who are heavily injured are healed at the same time, with the buildings also returning back to normal. After Eren finishes screaming, he kneels to the ground. The colossal titans start to move one after another. The colossal titans are making sure not to step on the houses and buildings as they start to march outside of Paradis. At the same time, Armin, Jean, and Connie manage to land beside Eren and the others, and Jean asks, "Hey, what is going on here?" "He did it. Eren did it." Gloria says, "We won. The rumbling has begun." Aya takes out the speaker and says, "To all troops of Hizuru, you can begin the operation." The speaker replies, "Roger that." With multiple voices, and Armin says, "You're kidding. It can't be."
Eren.
Mikasa and Sasha hold Eren up, and Eren says, "Now, there is still one thing left to do." His eyes glow again and Peter says, "Your Highness, your body. You shouldn't. Worry about it later." Eren says, "Hear me, subjects of Ymir." He has every Eldian teleported into the paths, and he says, "My name is Eren Jaeger, and I'm the current king of Eldia. I'm using the founding Titan's powers to address all subjects of Ymir. I've undone the hardening of Paradis Island's walls, and the Titans buried within have begun their march. My goal is to protect the people of Paradis Island, the place I was born. However, the world wants to exterminate my people. After how King Karl Fritz fabricated the Marleyan hero Hellos and flee to the Paradis Island, he used the founding Titan's powers to wipe our memories of our past. And at the same time, all of the nations outside have been sending in you subjects of Ymir, turning them into Titans and having them wandering around and devour us. Children on my island are shivering in fear because of the Titans are going to eat them. Soldiers trying to fight them are killed brutally. And the only thing that kept us from the monsters that you also terrified are the walls. But you also decide to destroy it and letting the Titans in. It takes us 100 years to finally get rid of them. We know nothing about the outside world. The hatred comes from the ancestors. Why would the children have to be blamed? All we want is peace. That's why we've been trying negotiations with your nations. All but Hizuru refuses to negotiate with US, but they would rather team up with Marley, who use you Eldians to fight on wars for them and make the hatred to Eldians more and more. And you dare try to declare war on US. All because of me having the founding titan and breaking the so-called peace of King Fritz. If anything, the one who breaks the peace is you people outside of the island. You ignore the warnings of the rumbling, and you dump all of your hatred on our island. The Great Titan War stems from the conflict between the 9 royal families. But as of today, they are all united and will be the ones who have the last power of the 9. I will make sure that nobody will be able to turn into mindless titans and make their blood the same as the other people. You don't need to worry about the blood tests. Not that it matters to you anymore, and Eldians outside of the island won't be able to reproduce any children. Considering I care about children outside being discriminated against by non-Eldians, the world wants to exterminate my people, and not just on the island. They will not stop until every last subject of Ymir is dead. I refuse to lose them. The Wall Titans will trample every inch of the world beyond the island, except for our ally Hizuru. With the help from the Ajimabito and Newman family, we will also bring chosen ones to the island for avoiding the rumbling. However, every last life beyond the ones chosen and our island will be wiped out. One more thing, even if you manage to kill me, the rumbling won't stop, so all of your struggles will be in vain. And just then, all of the Eldians are now back in the real world and they are panicking. What was that strange place? Are you all right, Mr. Leonhardt? Annie's father is kneeling on the ground and says, "Yeah, did you hear that? The Titans are leaving that island to come kill us." Back with Reiner and Gabby, they are now with Colt, Falco, and Galliard. Reiner kneels to the ground and Gabby says, "Reiner! I couldn't stop it. Eren, we'll destroy the world." Reiner mutters, and it causes everyone to widen their eyes. Once they manage to escape the Yeagerus by hiding inside one house, he says, "Colt, Galliard, in the south there are escape airships. Go find Peak or our soldiers, and escape. You have to hurry, and tell Marley. No, the world. What will telling them do? Where's there to run?" Falco mutters, "My mom, Dad, Aunt Karina, won't everyone die?" Gabby asks, "We have to stop the rumbling." "And how are you going to stop him?" Galliard asks. "Eren Yeager took our Titan powers away and none of us are able to transform into Titans. He made us normal humans instead of Eldians like him. The only beneficial thing is that the founding Titan won't be able to make us obey its will. No one can stop him now. We can't do anything but run." Colt frowns. At the same time, Aya says, "It's over. Now we just need to wait until all of them die off, and that will also mean the hate will also die out." Louise says, "Indeed, everyone who threatened our existence will be flattened, leaving nothing but empty plains. What the world feared more than anything has happened. Because they refused to negotiate with us, all because they labeled us devils and tried to slaughter us." Sasha says, "In other words, this is something that they brought upon themselves." Mikasa turns to Gloria and asks, "What's the situation with Zeke?" "Zeke's already dead. The last attack from Commander Magath has killed him." Gloria replies, "Such a shame." Eren sighs as he tries to sit up, and Odom says, "You should take some rest, Your Highness. You just used all your power for the founding Titan. Indeed, you've already done enough." Flock says, "No, not yet." Eren says, "There is still a lot of work to do. We still need to reform the government and the military. Flock and I can handle this." Louise says, "Don't worry about it. But this is going too far. It's genocide of unprecedented scale." Armin says to Eren, "You're still going on with that?"
Eren frowns.
"I would rather not let my daughter live in the world where Eldians are continued to be hated." Once they arrive at where the other anti-Marleyan volunteers are located, Eren says, "Marley's army was basically wiped out and there are no more pure Titans. Zeke, however, didn't survive the attack from the Cart Titan and her gear, but before his death, we managed to get the Beast Titan's power before it is sent away. So this is the rumbling." Onyankapan says, "But to think my homeland is going to be doomed. But then again, once it is over, it will thrive again." Eren turns to Yelena and says, "But still, you're being detained." Yelena. Flock points the gun at her head, much to the others' surprise. Then after Yelena is taken away, Eren lies on the bed and says, "Hizuru's airships are now going to rescue some chosen children to the island to avoid the rumbling. And the other nations have their own airships to save their own people. If you still wish to stop the rumbling, I won't stop you, Armin. But just so you know, if you choose this future, you are going to lose some of your friends. Maybe you will die, or maybe you would sacrifice Commander Hang just so you will live. There are still a lot of possibilities lying in front of us."
Eren.
Armin is angry as he tries to punch Eren, but Mikasa is holding him back. "Let go of me, Mikasa. I'm not going to let you hurt Eren." Mikasa says, He's already suffering a lot. Gloria says, Eren, we will make sure none of them are going to hurt you, so just take a rest. Eren nods as he finally closes his eyes.